Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today with my arena team and update here. Now that we've had a week or so to actually test out Null, but more importantly, in my last video, we were able to just test it out for the very first time. And now that the arena meta has kind of settled down a bit, it's definitely been a fun week, guys. This is actually one of the funnest I've seen in arena because of all the different teams and the varieties that you're seeing. And I want to showcase for you guys what's working for myself, especially since I've been able to hold the top 10. But even when I'm not in the top 10, usually if I fall down to like 12 or 14, I can work my way back up with a pretty consistent offensive team too. So let me walk you through that. But again, guys, in case for those of you that aren't aware, you want to be doing as well as you can in arena, because in the top 10 you're getting 500 power cores per day, right? In the top 20 you're getting 450 per day, and then in the top 50 you're getting 400 cores per day. So I mean, all that is going to add up over time, and it just helps. That's why we've been able to build a massive reserve in our account, even though we've been coring every day and hoarding. For example, let me show you here. We've been hoarding campaign energy, we've been hoarding ISO 8, and we've been also using cores for actually the undying orb fragments right now, which is we're just tied back to an event that's ongoing for a leaderboard. So I want to walk you guys real quickly through that. But actually, before I do, let me show you my defense. This is what's been holding up for me on defense, guys. I know it doesn't really look like your standard team, but this is also the same team that I use on offense, and surprisingly enough, it doesn't get attacked much. I think it's because it's rare to see a variant right now without any kind of annihilator, and annihilator as in Thanos endgame, gladiator, and gore. But we do still have gore on defense actually, and I'm gonna explain that in a little bit here. But more importantly, guys, I want to talk about why Mephisto Apocalypse are now back in the meta for the arena, because it's actually pretty crazy, and you'll see that in a little bit of the gameplay that I have captured. But Apocalypse, he's been such a surprise. With the announcement and release of Annihilators, you would think that he would have been one of the ones that fell off. Mephisto still stayed as well, but he's actually gained more value, even though actually, let's talk about Null real quick here, because you need to understand Null's mechanic before we understand the other characters here, right? Know that Null has a passive, right, where enemies cannot become empowered. So obviously we know what the damage he brings, the darkness dynamic that he's able to apply to enemies, but enemies cannot become empowered. So that kind of renders some of the big, most powerful characters in the game, not as valuable, right? So Mephisto, when he starts off in his turn 1, he does have an empowered state where he gains that 666 speed. And remember, he has the access to the 3 scrolls that he's able to use, right? Well, he no longer has that empowered, so that means he can't use the scrolls at the beginning. So everyone's thinking, oh no, he's not going to have value anymore. But it's kind of the passives that we're going for, guys, that we're able to benefit off. Even though Mephisto can't use his scrolls, keep in mind too, he still has the rest of his other abilities. He still has, providing allies 20% max health, and he still has powerful abilities too. So that's what's going to be important to note. Similar story for Apocalypse, right? When he uses his ultimate ability, he becomes unempowered, and unempowered, he gains the speed bar, and as well he gains access to obviously his ability here in the powered state. Only downside obviously is we don't have access to this ability now, so you can't use it. But actually, one of the big reasons why you want to bring up Apocalypse is the amount of value he provides for the team. You can see here, allies gain 20% max HP, similar to what Mephisto did. 20% damage. He provides accuracy 100%, especially in arena and war. So he actually gives a lot of value to the team, and you'll see that later on, which is why it's pretty notable, guys. And the reason I like gore in this mix is because well, I don't know, it's been working for me for defensively anyways, but for offense, I mean, remember, he's actually one of the more speedier characters in the team, right? He's got a powerful ultimate ability where he can actually fill up his speed bar with charges. He has piercing damage, he can clear, defense up, evasion, revive. So you actually want a character like this in order to inflict some damage. He also has a useful ability block, as you'll see. If he's able to target it on Odin, he's able to also ability block and make sure that that lands as well. And let's not forget, obviously he has his passive dynamics where characters killed cannot be revived. And last but not least, obviously he gains the most value from having Annihilator. But the good news is that he actually does lower the chance for all assist chance for all enemies by 100%. So it kind of renders characters like Old Man Logan not that valuable, right? So that's why that dynamic is very interesting. Now, that's my team, right? Mephisto, Apocalypse, Gore, and then we already know Odin and Null. our locks, right? So let's get into now some gameplay, and let me show you how easy these matches are. Okay, first match. This is the typical team you would probably see, which is the Annihilator Classic with Odin and Null. So you want to be able to target the Gladiator. You can't really do much because of the taunt and whatnot, right? So you just go ahead, use your abilities there. And you kind of see how much better now this team does fare against a Gladiator-esque Annihilator team because of the fact that we have the extra potency and damage from Null being our team in addition to Darkness. So we're just going ahead, we're just using our abilities, mainly our ultimates, to try to stack in Darkness across the board. But you can see how much faster Gladiator falls now, even below that 50% HP threshold, which is kind of what we want to be going for, right? Because now, when Apocalypse does use his ult, remember, he doesn't have the empowered state because we're up against an enemy Null, but he still gains a speed bar. So watch this, he still gets the turn 2 right away. And then now we can actually use that as a cleanse for us to redistribute HP. But more importantly, now that you've actually gone Gladiator past that point, he has lost now his taunt mechanic, right? So now we go ahead on our team, we go ahead and use a special to heal. And again, we can't really control the speed bar. There's a bit of RNG to it, but so as long as we are the ones doing more impactful damage, right? You can see, just look at that one attack from Odin with his passive basic. And it's really because of the fact that our Apocalypse is boosting up our Odin a lot more than Annihilators is boosting up their characters. We're just more juiced up than the team that we're up against, right? This Odin has the exact same stats as mine, but we're hitting like a truck because of the passive bonuses that we're getting. And our team is fully stacked. And you can see how fast Annihilator just got absolutely wrecked by some of these abilities, because this team overall is just a stronger team in terms of bonuses being granted to each other. So yeah, hopefully this is a good example to showcase for you like how much better this is from an offensive standpoint, because now you don't really want to use Annihilators on offense. This is just so much stronger and more powerful. Okay, next up, I do want to share for you now another battle here where we're up against kind of a similar meta to us, right? Obviously, this is the other most common one, which is you might not see Mephisto on defense anymore because Null effectively cancels them, but you might see other Apocalypses and obviously some other variants of Thanos Endgame. This is the one I've seen the most, actually. So you can see, once again, a lot of people aren't going to take Gladiator off of defense, but he becomes such a big target. And this is why I like Gore, the speed. And we were, in this round anyways, we were able to actually effectively land the ability block on Odin. If you're able to do this, it's game over. Because your Odin's going to have the advantage. This is basically the pre-null meta, which is like when you can land your ability block and control over the enemy Odin. There's not much the defensive team can do about it, because we just have those turn advantages, and now we have extra potency and damage from null combined with Apocalypse. I mean, you can just see how one-sided this is, right? So if you guys are having a hard time with some of these battles, give this team a try. It's been super fun to experiment in Theorycraft, but yeah, you can just see how strong this team is. And again, the enemies I'm up against are almost practically the exact same in levels, practically the exact same in gear tiers, right? Because we haven't upgraded to gear tier 20 yet. So hopefully this is helpful, guys. Do let me know if this works for you. Let me know in the comments below. I do appreciate your time as always, and hopefully this is able to help you raise your rank. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.